guys, my name is Dahlia. This is Novel Idea. Thanks so much for watching. I'm going to do the Dilemma of a Book Nerd tag. My friend is here, so she might be distracting me in the wings of the video, rather. The first question is storage. How do you store and organize your books? My books are sort of all over the place right now. I have some of my books are on my couch, some of them are back home, some of them are just like piled against the wall, so they're really all over the place. I don't really have a method to the madness in terms of storage. I don't really have a specific way to store it. I just place them wherever they may be. Okay, question number 2. The second question is, borrow. Do you lend your books out? This is a tough one because I'm a little bit of a book hoarder. I do really enjoy, collecting and just creating a library for myself, and I'm very wary about lending books and not getting them back. So I'm sure a lot of you book lovers can relate, but I do end up lending books out, mostly because if someone is at my place and they want to borrow a book, I feel rude not letting them, and ultimately it's just a book, so worst comes to worst, I don't get it back and I move on, even though there's a part of me that wishes I hadn't lent it out. Number 4 is buying. How do you buy or acquire your books? So I use a variety of methods. Very recently my stepmom sent me a link to like bookoutlet.ca and I ended up spending like $60 on like 15 books. So there are really cheap ways of acquiring novels. So yeah, that's one. The other thing is I will go to used bookstores pretty regularly. In Toronto there's a BMV, which is like basically really discounted novels, so I will use that. And then there's also, I personally like to support independent bookstores. So there's one that I love to go to, and I enjoy it because they have events there and I know the owners, and it's nice to support local independent bookstores. Next question is, how do you respond to "how do you read so much" and other similar comments? I don't get this comment a ton. I will say, Erin, if you're watching, my friend Erin, she's been on my channel. She asks me this a lot. Amani, do you ever wonder how I read so much? No?
Take the streetcar.
I take the streetcar. So, I don't really get this question a lot sometimes, but when I do, I kind of just think like, I don't know, if you, what?
What else is there to do?
Yeah, what else is there to do? If you like something, you make time for it. It's just, it's that simple. I don't think I'm a super fast reader. I don't think I, read a ton of books per month. I think given my interest in it, it's something I love to do, but also a lot of the times I'll read a lot more than I do others, and there's an ebb and flow to it, and so I don't put a lot of pressure on myself to read when I don't feel like it. And sometimes I'll read a lot and other times not as much. So how do you choose your next book? This is a tough one, mostly because in my mind there always like looms large the list of classic novels that I know I should be reading. I have a ton of books that I'm like, I need to be reading these books. Mainly because they're classic, so it's important to me, at least it is important to read a lot of classic literature, and there are a lot of books that I have which I know I should be reading, but at the same time I also want to keep up with contemporary reads. So all of the different awards that are being announced, like there's so much buzz and hype around these novels, and I also want to be in on the conversation, and so it's really a toss-up. But I would say for the most part, I'm sort of an impulse reader. Like what I decide to read next is mainly just on feeling. It's mainly just on, if I start a book, read a couple pages and I'm feeling it, I'll continue. So I wouldn't say that there's really a lot of reasoning put into it. Okay, question number 7, travel. How do you pick which book to bring on vacation? I don't really go on vacation very often, so I'm just gonna say nothing to this because I don't really, and also if I do, it would be the same sort of strategy or lack of strategy that I use for picking my next book to read. Write in or mark up my books in any way. I do not. If I want to remember a passage, what I'll do is I'll take a photo of that page, and essentially in my camera like photo album, it's all just photos of book like pages in books, because those are the pages I want to look back on and reread or something. So if I really like a page, I'll just take a picture of it, but I will not write in the actual physical copy of the book. New or backlist, which do I prefer? That's a tough one. Honestly, I find newer books, newer contemporary reads a lot easier to read, but they don't have the same staying power normally that backlist older books tend to have. So it really depends on my mood, and it depends on various factors. Honestly, I can't answer that. I like them both. Do you read books as they are released, or do you wait for an entire series? This is easy. Don't read sequels for the most part. I don't read a lot of fantasy or science fiction, so for the most part I just read literary fiction, which typically do not contain sequels. That's my video. Thanks so much for watching. I just wanted to post something really quick, and this seemed like a fun, easy way to do so. Please subscribe, and I will be out shortly with my monthly wrap-up.